The 90s were a different time. Odd fashion, people fighting over stuffed animals, and some truly iconic music. The supercars of that time were just as strange. We all know about cars like the Diablo, the F50, and the F1, but in the 90s there was a supercar boom. Everyone was making something new and wild, most without much success. Jaguar released the XJ220, for a brief time the fastest production car in the world. Only 282 were made. Bugatti was reborn with the EB110, sporting a V12 with 4 turbochargers. The Super Sport version made over 600 horsepower, which was actually a lot back then. A total of 139 were built. Honda got in on the action with the NSX, complete with mid-engine and pop-up headlights. It drove better than the Ferraris of the time. The most extreme cars came from Le Mans, where the rules said only production cars could compete. As a result, manufacturers started building limited runs of race cars that had been modified to be street legal. Porsche made the 911 GT1 Strassen version, Mercedes sold the CLK GTR, and Nissan offered the R390. Well, not really. Porsche sold about 22 cars, Mercedes 28, but Nissan only made 2, which many believe are actually the same car, just painted a different color. Nissan still owned the car. A few companies tried their hand at converting older Porsche 962s into road-going cars like Dauer, Koenig, and most notably Chupon. They redesigned the entire body, incorporating Porsche taillights and reshaping the front to look more like the contemporary 911. Only 6 were built, with Dauer building 13 and Koenig just 3. Some of the weirdest cars came from companies most people have never heard of.
That's weird.
TVR was founded in the late 40s in England, focusing on smaller, lightweight cars. By the 80s, they were using larger V8s, and in the 90s, they went nuts and built the Subaru Speed 12. Powered by a 1,000 horsepower V12, it was so terrifying they only built 2 test cars before deciding it would be too dangerous to sell to the public. Years later, they would eventually build and sell 1 production car. In 1996, American company Vector introduced the M12, powered by a Lamborghini V12. Its angular body and massive intakes make the Italians look tame, but they couldn't pay the bills and lost their engines. Ultimately, only 14 were built. The Cizeta V16T was released in 1991, based on the original design for the Lamborghini Diablo. Its 6-liter V16 engine made 560 horsepower, and 4 pop-up headlights trumped the rest for cool factor. The Lister Storm has the distinction of being both front-engined, with a massive 7-liter V12, but also having 4 seats. Lister raced the car too, competing at Le Mans in 95, 96, and 97. Only 4 street-legal versions were ever built, but the company still exists and maintains the existing cars today. Panoz is a little-known company today, but in the late 90s, every kid with a PlayStation knew them, and their insane GTR won. Its 6-liter Ford V8 sat at the front, and its spaceship looks made it unforgettable. Only 2 were originally built, but unbelievably, the company still exists today and will even build you a brand new, updated version for a cool $1 million. You'd think street-legal Le Mans cars and V16 engines would be enough, but one company wasn't satisfied with ruling just the track and the street. Enter the Axam Megatrack, a mid-engine supercar with 4 seats and the ability to go off-road. Its air suspension can raise the car 5 inches, giving it over a foot of ground clearance. A Mercedes V12 in the back driving the rear wheels moves the 2.5-ton car to 60 in about 5 seconds, and it's actually wider than a new Hummer EV. The trends of the 90s might have been a little crazy, but the cars were insane. Thankfully, there's still a slew of modern companies making ridiculous stuff today. Let's pray it never ends.